Hey, my friend. I just wanted to do a follow up on our phone conversation this morning. I'm regret that I'm sorry that for some reason I'm not communicating clearly to you what my heart is. I really want you to be the best possible leader in the church that you can be. I don't know what the Lord has in mind for you out there in the future, but I do want you to be as prepared as well as I can help you prepare for whatever is out there. And so, any critique that I do of work that you may submit is really an attempt on my part as a teacher to help you get better. I mean, my job as a teacher is not that of simply reading your work and giving you a good grade and letting it go. I really want to be involved as a mentor in your life. Uh, think of the things in the New Testament. Jesus was a mentor to his disciples. He took them on field trips with him. He reproved them when they misunderstood things. He tried hard to communicate with them, even when they didn't understand him. Or the Apostle Paul, in his actions or in his interactions with people like Timothy and Titus, he helped to try to prepare them. He warned them of things that perhaps they had not thought of. He pointed out issues and directions for them that he thought they should work on. In his letters to the churches, to the leaders of those, and to the leadership of those churches, he sometimes spoke very strongly and said, "You have allowed this to happen, and you should not." Or those letters to the churches in Revelation, the seven churches, where the Spirit speaks strongly to leaders of those seven churches, saying, in some cases, you have allowed this to happen in your church, and you should not. You should deal with this issue. Uh, it's all in that spirit that I'm trying to be a mentor and your friend. There's no reason to be afraid of me. I'm really kind of a softy, kind of a pushover. But I want my students to be better. I want them to be all that God has called them to be. I want them to be all of that all of the realize all of the potential that's within them, and then that's the spirit of this interaction with you. And I'm sorry that some doubts have arisen about my motivations, or doubts have arisen about even if I'm following the model of Christ. And I apologize for that. That has come across badly and in ways that I did not intend. I really want you to be the best possible Christian leader that you can be, and I'm not sure that will happen if all I say to you is good job and give you full points possible on an assignment where perhaps some instructions were not followed well, or perhaps where you didn't quite come up to the expectations. I think I do best when I help you in your weak points rather than just glossing them over and saying that you don't have any. I'm not sure that's the best approach I can take. I'm not sure that's the best help I can give to someone who's studying for the ministry. So anyway, I just want to I wanted to try to talk to you face to face with with a video and say, I care about you. I want the best for you. There's no reason to be fearful of me. I mean, goodness, who can be fearful of me? You mentioned the issue of racism. I hope that there's none of that in my bones. But if somehow from what I've said has communicated an attitude of racism, I apologize for that. I certainly didn't mean that. My life is filled with a variety of people from different cultures and ethnic backgrounds, and I certainly understand that all of us are part of God's creation, and while we come from different backgrounds, there's no one that's better or worse than another. So if in some way I have communicated that I'm racist, I apologize for that. You mentioned the fact that there came the thought that perhaps I was intentionally working hard to give you a bad grade, and that's not it at all. Grades, for me, not all that important. A few years ago, there was a movement on in some schools in the U.S. to abolish grades and just make it a pass or no pass. And I thought that was a pretty good idea. That would free up folks from having to say, "Oh, I got a B minus, and I think I should be a B plus rather than a B minus. Um, but that didn't work out because it wasn't motivational enough, apparently, for students. The students apparently need the idea of grades as an external motivation. I would always hope that students are internally motivated. They're motivated from inside themselves to learn, whether or not they get a grade, whether or not they get a good grade or not. That they're motivated to learn the most that they can, and that's what I want to happen with you. I don't. For me, the final grade that you get in a course is in a certain sense unimportant. And quite frankly, some years from now, you won't remember, or at least I don't remember what grades I got in what courses. I do remember the things that I learned in certain courses, though, um, things that have made a significant difference in terms of shaping my life and ministry and walk with the Lord. So please don't get hung up on grades. I know you're right at the very end of your course, but um, let's not get hung up on, oh, did I only got 15 points out of 20? Oh, what's wrong with me? Or what doesn't the professor like about me? Let's not fall into that trap. I do think that even the satanic forces are at work to try to derail those that are studying for the ministry. And so I hope that there won't be the temptation on your part to think more about grades than you think about the content of what you're learning and how that's going to help you in the future in terms of your ministry. Well, my friend, I really care about you. I'm sorry that somehow I've communicated that perhaps I don't, and I apologize deeply for that, and I ask for your forgiveness. May the Lord's blessing be upon you as you come down towards the end of this time of study and preparation.